Hitler didn't conquer Germany with tanks first. He conquered it with paper, decrees, signatures, temporary laws, and while the world argued over procedure, the trap snapped shut. The night the Reichstag burned, Berlin didn't just smell smoke, it smelled like permission. Sirens slice the winter air. Flames lick the dome. People flood the streets in coats and panic, whispering one word like it's the only explanation that keeps them safe: communists. And somewhere in the chaos, Adolf Hitler isn't sprinting toward the fire. He's sprinting toward the moment. Because fear does something to a country. It makes it beg for someone to make it stop. And Hitler had only been chancellor for weeks. In foreign capitals, he still looked like a loud politician who'd burn out or get managed by reasonable men. A temporary storm. But Hitler didn't need to look unstoppable forever. He only needed the world to look away for one season. So, while ashes still drifted over Berlin, an emergency decree landed like a hammer, suspending civil liberties. Meetings were banned. Press was muzzled. People were arrested before they even understood what law they'd broken. And the wild part? It sounded official. It sounded like order. March 1933. An election under intimidation, street violence, and fear. Hitler didn't need a clean victory. He needed momentum, and he got it. Brown shirts prowl like wolves. Opponents get beaten, threatened, silenced. And still, the headlines say Germany is stabilizing. Then comes the vote that turns a democracy into a doorway. The Enabling Act. One law, one signature, and suddenly, Hitler can pass laws without parliament. If you're waiting for the big dramatic takeover, well, this is it. It just happens in a chamber with paperwork instead of bullets. And once a nation hands away its brakes, it doesn't stop fast. It slides. Now, the word spreads through Germany like a cold whisper. Gleichschaltung, coordination. It sounds harmless. It means everything will march in step, or be broken. Regional governments are stripped. Loyal Nazi commissioners take over. Clubs, newspapers, radio stations, pulled into line like fish on hooks. And in Prussia, a new shadow grows teeth. The Gestapo. It doesn't need evidence when it has fear. It doesn't need courts when it has protective custody. The point isn't justice. The point is uncertainty. So anyone can be next. And outside Germany, leaders hesitate. They're broke, war-weary, terrified of another 1914. So they tell themselves, let him govern. Responsibility will calm him down. But Hitler isn't calming down. He's testing the locks. May 1933. Hitler stages a patriotic celebration of workers. Flags, songs, speeches. It feels like unity. The next day, Nazi squads smash independent trade unions, seize their offices, and replace them with one state-controlled labor organization. Smile on camera, crush off camera. That becomes the pattern. Political parties are squeezed, harassed, banned, dissolved, until Germany becomes a one-party state. Civil servants are purged. Teachers are monitored. Judges are pressured. Newspapers are leashed. Radios become megaphones. The regime doesn't just want obedience. It wants agreement, or at least the performance of it. And behind the curtains, cages appear. The first concentration camp, Dachau, opens in 1933. At first, it's sold as a place for dangerous enemies. But the definition of enemy expands like a stain. Communists, social democrats, critics, and soon anyone the state chooses. Then the book burnings. Pages fed to flames while crowds chant. When a regime burns books in public, it's not destroying paper. It's announcing, we decide what reality is. And still, the world mostly watches. Because nothing has crossed a border yet. No tanks rolling into Europe. No clear moment demanding a response. Just documents, decrees, arrests, speeches, Late 1933, Hitler turns to the world stage. Because power at home is safer when outsiders are confused, Germany walks out of disarmament talks, then withdraws from the League of Nations. The message is blunt. The rules that bind everyone else do not bind us. The response is mostly words. Notes, debates, polite outrage. No united front. No hard line. Because many leaders still believe Hitler is a temporary storm Germany will outgrow. Then, Hitler does something clever. He buys time. In early 1934, Germany signs a non-aggression pact with Poland. It's not peace, it's minutes. It splinters opposition, muddies alliances, and makes critics look paranoid. And while diplomats argue, Hitler keeps tightening the screws at home until even his own movement becomes a threat. Because the Nazi rise had muscle, the SA, the brown shirts, violent, impatient, convinced they're owed the future. Their leader, Ernst Röhm, wants a second revolution, one that could swallow the army itself. Now Hitler faces a choice that decides everything. Keep the street fighters who got him here, or trade them for the army's loyalty that will keep him here. Late June 1934, the trap door opens. Hotels, safe houses, quiet rooms, names on lists. The night of the long knives, a purge. Rome is arrested. SA leaders are executed. And the killing spreads to other enemies too. People whose only crime is standing in Hitler's way. Here's the horrifying part. From far away, some outsiders applaud. It looks like Hitler has restored order, restrained extremists, become responsible. But what he really proves is this. He can murder inside his own government and pay nothing for it. Not at home, not abroad. And if a leader learns he can kill to solve problems, what comes next? August 1934. President Paul von Hindenburg dies. An old man's lungs fail, and a nation's last safeguard dies with him. This is the moment the world should have recognized as the final alarm. Because Hitler doesn't just step into the vacancy, he fuses it to himself. He merges the presidency with the chancellorship. He takes the title Führer. And then the army swears an oath. Not to a constitution, not to a country, to Hitler. The state is no longer an institution. It's a person. That's the dictatorship snapping into place like a rifle bolt. And here's the aha. The reason nobody stopped him in 1933 to 34. There wasn't one cinematic invasion to rally against. There was a chain of steps that looked legal, each one small enough to debate, but together forming a cage. Hitler didn't overthrow Germany in a single night. He replaced the rules, one signature at a time, while opponents argued in slow motion, and foreign leaders waited for the moment it would be obviously too late. They kept hoping treaties would hold, markets would stabilize, extremists would mellow, reason would win. But Hitler learned the perfect lesson from those first moves. Move fast. Wrap every theft of power in paperwork. Keep everyone arguing about procedure. Keep your violence deniable. Keep your intent foggy. And by the time the world agrees you're dangerous, you're already untouchable. Because tyranny doesn't always arrive marching. Sometimes it arrives signing. It arrives with temporary emergencies that never end. And it thrives when outsiders say it's not our problem yet. So, if you want to know when World War II truly became possible, look here. 1933 to 34. Not the tanks, not the Blitz, the pen, because history doesn't repeat like a copy. It repeats like an echo. History never dies. It just echoes.